Hey everybody, I want to wish everybody a very happy Sunday. It's been a minute since I did a podcast. I've been extremely busy with working and I'm coming up with some intro to make my podcast better. I've been out of the limelight. I apologize to my listeners because I haven't been active. I always try to make new content at least twice a week. So I appreciate everyone who still tunes in and supports me and hears my message. I appreciate that very much. I also want to wish all the mothers today a very, very happy Mother's Day for bringing us into this world. It's really a miracle that we are all here. Despite all these new modern day challenges, we are still here for a reason. We have a purpose to work together and to make the world a better place. Today I'm going to speak about having the desire to change. Right now, I'm currently in Coney Island, which is in Brooklyn, where I'm from. I want to shout out to everybody who's listening to me from Ukraine. Thank you guys so much, Ukraine. Thank you, South Africa. Thank you, England. Thank you, Belgium. Thank you, Australia. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, the UK. Thank you, Australia, and thank you, Germany. It's really amazing that you guys are listening to everything that I have to say. You know, I don't have much experience making podcasts. You know, I'm not all that when it comes to the technology aspect. I'm still learning. I don't have any equipment. I just have my voice. And I'm literally doing this so I can try to inspire others while trying to inspire my life, despite all the difficulties and the different obstacles that I have to endure to get to where I am today. Sometimes a lot of people that are in my age group, they don't want to see the other side because, you know, they live in a city and that's all they know. They don't want to change. You know, the comfort zone is the danger zone. It's hard to change. It's hard for me to change. You're speaking to a person, right, that has severe ADHD, who's living in a very intimidated city where there's so many different opportunities out here to make money. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you are in finances or you are in real estate such as myself, or you own a business. There are so many opportunities out here in New York. People don't realize, yeah, New York is not all that. There's so many problems in New York. I'm not going to get into any of the problems because I am not a politician. I'm a podcaster and I'm a realtor as well. And that's what I do. What I'm saying is that we have to look at the positive side of every single situation, despite the challenges that you are going to face in modern day society, living in a capitalistic world. We are only here for a limited time. You know, I was just telling somebody that. We are only here for a limited time. I'm here limited time only. But I am not unlimited. If you put your mind to something, you can totally accomplish it. You can do anything you choose to do. You have the right to do what you want to do. It is your right to go to the next level. You don't have to consult with anybody. At the end of the day, if you have the drive and you have the ideas and you have the right team supporting you, then you will definitely be able to get there with capital behind you. Because, you know, some people have so much money. Some people have all this money and they don't invest it into the right places, and they end up losing all that money because of stupidity and negligence and lack of education. You know, that's the sad part, is people are always going to hate on the rich, and I never seems right to hate on people that made it in this capitalistic society. I'm not going to hate on somebody who went and made money the right way and put in the time, the effort, and the dedication. I don't care. I don't care about hard work. Everybody always says hard work pays off. That's bullshit. Because if hard work pays off, I would be a wealthy man right now because I currently work a lot of hours at my job. I could barely even function on the job, yet outside the job. That's why haven't really been making as many episodes. I'm willing to change. I have a plan on what I plan to do. When summer is over, I really plan on grinding this summer because I have to say I am ready to move on to the next point in my early life. This is just the beginning. It's so difficult, and I keep talking to, whether it's coworkers or people that approach me, or I approach somebody about, whether it's about real estate, or I tell, my people, yeah, listen to my podcast where I talk about different types of conversations when it comes to connecting within yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror and realize that this is only the beginning. You think it's hard now, it only gets harder. And I understand that. The problem is people don't know the things that I know. I don't go around telling everybody what I know because at the end of the day, I'm able to see things that people are not able to see, which is kind of sad. I see right through a lot of bullshit in people. I see, that there's a lot of frauds in the streets. People are really not genuine. Not that they're nasty and bad, it's just they're not genuine people. If you really want to be successful, you have to have a name for yourself. You have to be trusted by somebody else in terms of managing money. At the end of the day, a realtor who's literally just starting out, and I'm working with somebody who is 100 more times qualified than I am. However, what I have is I have networking connections, which a lot of people, even new agents, I haven't even closed a deal yet. So many people called me and said, look, I need an apartment. This is my budget. They don't have the money to back up what they're saying. So it's just not going to work out. If you don't have the money backing up what you're looking for, you're just wasting the realtor's time. And then nobody's going to end up helping you after that because, you keep wasting people's time. You have to be, your word is your bond. That's what I tell everybody within myself. Like when I say I'm going to do something, I really try hard to commit to what I say I'm going to do because a man has his word and he needs to abide that. Sometimes it's really hard, things happen. I have different things going on in my life besides my podcast and my job and going to the next level, and even, me being a realtor, getting the right clients and finding the right home for them to live is a job in itself. It's really difficult because people are extremely not flexible, if that even makes sense. You got to be flexible in New York City. There's really limited amount of housing out here. I've said it before that we have a housing crisis, and it's going to get worse because people are not paying attention to what's going on. So people really have to be on the loop when it comes to different opportunities. If an opportunity ever came across to me collaborating with somebody, I'm always down for different opportunities. So many people are saying, this is a scam, this is a scam. Nobody really understands what it is to actually make money until they done it and collaborated with somebody who made more money than them. They're not interested in learning about how to actually go to the next level. And that's one of my biggest challenges right now. Okay, look, I got the real estate license, right? I work for the post office, which is absolutely exhausting. I call out so much at this job, and the fact that I still work there, it's a blessing in itself because I literally call out, maybe once a week, and I still end up doing over 50 hours plus. I'm literally wiped by the time I get home. I gotta take a cold shower, I gotta make some dinner, and then at that time, the day is already over. And this is literally why I'm having a difficult time right now with everything going on with planning my summer and a routine. I'm here to see how I'm going to be able to get from point A to point B without having to change my original plan. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to literally make a lot of videos. You're going to have to keep posting. And I am proud to say that I am not really on social media like before. I really took a break from social media because I think that social media is not healthy for a brain like mine who's already having so much in his brain that he has to think about in terms of, okay, look, I gotta think about different opportunities besides just posting on social media. I gotta think about how I'm going to deliver AB's World to other people. Other people want to hear what I have to say. It can't just be social media is the only answer. Of course, everybody's on social media today. If you don't have social media, I don't know if you're like even part of this modern day society. Now, I just don't want to be on it as much because I think that it's distracting for somebody like me who's more in tune with wanting to learn from different places. I know so many different things I see online is so, fake. A lot of people are spreading misinformation about certain things and so much propaganda going on. So I decided not to eliminate social media, but to literally cut down and delete different groups and try to focus on my well-being and my health so I can make more money. You know what I'm saying? So many people are not in the right state of mind. They wake up and they say, look, why am I broke? You are not in the right state of mind. And that's including myself. I am not really in a good place when it comes to understanding what needs to be done to get to the next level. I'm a little bit confused in terms of where I'm going and where I'm headed. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this is literally what it is. This is the reality. The reality is that I think right now I'm just really speaking to my men audience. Shout out to all the gentlemen that are really ready to move on with their life and to make a little change. You don't have to make a big change, but make a small change. Even if it's just moving to a studio, at least you have peace of mind that you're able to come home and you don't have to live with anybody or rely on anybody for anything. And that to me is more important than having $1 million in the bank. Because at the end of the day, if you are ambitious and you are hustling out there in the streets and you're working at like 3, 4 in the morning and you're focused on that and you just want to invest that money and pay the rest with your bill and take the remaining money that you have left over and invest in some sort of trade or crypto or stocks, you're going to be fine. But the thing is, I'm not able to do that. The reason is because I recognized and I identified what happened to me when I moved out. Well, I did some foolish stuff when I moved. I overly bought for my apartment in such a short amount of time with money that I didn't even have because I just didn't want to deal with buying all that stuff later on. My ADHD was a disadvantage because I was impulsive, and now I'm kind of paying up for the stuff that I did. And it's just really annoying because if I didn't do that, I would have a lot of money in the bank right now, and I would probably be having a better podcast than, just me talking on a gorgeous beach on, these ordinary headphones. It would just be a lot better. And I think it's a really important lesson that I learned, that credit is so important to have. But once you abuse your credit, it's really hard to get it back. It's like once you lose somebody's trust, it's really hard to get it back, even if you have the right intentions. And that really, taught me that I need to not only be responsible with my money, but I have to be mindful of what I am doing. What is the purpose of me buying stuff for the apartment if I'm only going to live there a short amount of time? I'm there 2 years now, so it's not like a big regret because I would have to buy all that stuff anyways. But I feel like, if you have ADHD, it's much harder to manage what you've got. And I dig myself in a bigger hole than I already was. And now, I got myself into debt. I can't even invest in trading or anything until I clear this out. So if everyone wants to share with me what their goals are for the summer, I speak to my friends all the time. They were like, I don't have goals, just working and hustling because it's just another day, another season. But at the end of the day, it's important to know what season is busy for you so you can utilize that. Like right now, summer is not going to be super busy for me at work because, there's not a lot of activity, but it will be busy for me some days or most days because a lot of coworkers and people go out during the summer. So I get to utilize that as my advantage. I also get to utilize going to Jersey Shore on the weekends and going to see my mother and my family. People don't utilize what they have. They cry about things that they don't have. I'm also a victim of that. So we need to work together and find a solution to dealing with modern day problems. And it's difficult when you're dealing with all these problems alone and you're living in a big city and people already, having their families and, you just go alone at night and you try to think about how you can improve your life for the better, what kind of steps do I need to take? Where do I need to go without consulting anybody? At the end of the day, I'm 30 years old and I know for a fact that, if I call, because my mother's really, basically the only person that I have within my family besides my sisters, that I'm close to my family, but they don't understand like what it is in today's time to be single, not married, and not to have money in the bank or a car. It's just really discomforting. And the thing that makes me happy though is that I work. I'm not lazy. I'm so not lazy. People may think that I'm lazy because, sometimes I be sitting on my couch. Because when I'm sitting, whether it's for 20 minutes, that's how I think. Sometimes I just gotta sit down. Like right now I'm thinking. Usually I don't sit. I usually stand. I'm here for the long run. Somebody was telling me that I should quit my job because the pay is really bad. And I basically said, I understand how horrible the pay is at the post office. If anyone knows how bad and underpaid I am, and a lot of people are, I understand. However, I have this analogy, and that analogy is that I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get a better job that's going to pay me what I'm worth. There is no job in this earth that will ever pay me for the lifestyle that I desire and want. So I know that I'm going to have to open up my own business. I'm going to have to keep doing podcasts. I'm starting a YouTube channel this week on Tuesday. I'm going to be speaking a lot about what I talk about here and see, where it goes. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to see, even if it's, if it doesn't do good, I don't care. Like right now, I'm not, I don't really have like a client right now. Like I had a client, but they're not serious. I don't care because right now I'm not even focused on clients. A lot of people are like, oh, you're crazy. You should be, networking. No, right now, my focus is to promote that I even do real estate. Most people don't even know that I'm a realtor. Most people don't know that I'm in the process this week or before the month ends. I'm working on getting those business cards so I could go promote it in my gym so people actually see me. People do not see me. They don't know. That doesn't mean that, I'm slacking or hustling. It just means that they don't know that, hey, Abraham's in the business and he's able to do all types of transactions in New York. And he has connections in New Jersey. And that's what it is at the end of the day. You don't want to just get a client just to get a client to prove that, you can close a deal. You want to get the right client. You want to get a client that is high quality, and you want to get them into a high quality home where they're satisfied and comfortable, so you can get referrals from them. All it takes is one great transaction to go through with your knowledge and determination, and you devote your time to that because you have a passion for real estate. I mean, look how beautiful it is right now at Coney Island in Brooklyn. Look at that. Here's my background. It's just a really wonderful day to be out here. I never did a podcast outside the way I'm doing it now. It's amazing that I'm able to do this on such a beautiful Sunday. So many people don't have the resources. And I think that's really what it is. You got to find your niche. It's really hard for me, as a person that's doing podcasting, to find the right audience. Like who can relate to me. It's really difficult having, a authentic or unique situation. A lot of people my age are, maybe they're already established, at 30 years old, have like multi-million-dollar businesses. That's great. But at the end of the day, so many of us, like myself, I don't come from money. I don't really like to rely on anybody for money. A lot of people know, like I said this before, how I got my mom, how I moved out of my mom's house was that an opportunity came to me, and I grabbed that opportunity. I didn't even think twice about it. It's not that I was, desperate just to take that apartment, just to leave my mom's house so I could prove a point and say, hey, look, I'm independent. I did it for peace of mind. I did it so I'm able to go home at night, sit on my couch, and to think about what the hell am I going to do next? Besides working at this post office, paying me just $20 an hour that won't even pay my light bill. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of the next step. And so many people, are not on the same page. They're like, oh, you're jumping ahead. And I'm like, I'm not jumping ahead. Right now, I need to think about what makes sense and what doesn't. And what makes sense is for me to literally stay at the post office and get their dental insurance and let those people fix my teeth and put my paycheck to use. Meaning, let my paycheck make me more money while I'm working at this job. Not necessarily to invest, but to make a little dent for a bright future. Something that literally makes sense. Like, why is he working there? You don't need any skills to work in the post office. Like, I understand that. I don't really have much education experience. I'm a high school dropout. I got my high school diploma on my own. I pay for my own classes because I know how important education is in today's world. College does not mean anything unless you have a plan. That's really the bottom line. I'm not against college, but I understand why people go to college. I'm just not part of that system. The 9 to 5 is not meant for me. I'm way past that stage. I know that I'm capable of making a huge impact on the youth because I have a voice and I want to use it to make an impact. And I believe that that's why I started Abby's World. How many people want to actually change their lives and how many people are actually serious about it? Those are two different conversations. And I just wanted to share with you guys that mental health is not always mental health, as the liberals say. Mental health is also about what you eat. I don't think people really understand how important nutrition is. I'm going to see a nutritionist by the end of the month. People are eating like trash. I'm serious, they're eating trash. I don't eat great, but you will never see me have soda or Oreos or any of that processed food. You will never see me eat any of that, or coffee, or sugar. You might see me eat like burritos. I don't eat any fast food. No Starbucks, no. Guys, we have to do better when it comes to nutrition, because nutrition is, I'm telling you guys, I was just playing ball with my boy yesterday, and he's completely out of shape. And he told me he loves eating Oreos. Guys, that's just, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, bro. We gotta eat better, bro. We have to. Guys, we are only here for a limited time. Do you understand? I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys hearing my message. And I'll be making more episodes this week. And this is AB's World. Do you have the desire to change? Let's talk. Shoot me a message. You guys have my Instagram. My Instagram is AB's World 718. Looking forward. Thanks a lot.